think it's time to reveal what the Couch Potato CP8 is. I'm going to guess it's an 8-inch something because we're talking subwoofers. Martin, tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so this is the Earthquake CP8. Earthquake is a great name for a subwoofer company anyway, but the CP obviously stands for Couch Potato, which is also a great name. So this is a subwoofer which is supposed to slide under a couch or under a bed. It's really a small room subwoofer. You wouldn't expect this subwoofer's output to really accommodate a large room, but that's the idea. It goes under furniture. It wouldn't fit under the couch in my home cinema room. So as advised in the manual, you can also butt it up to a sofa or even have some distance away from furniture. And it can also actually sit on its side. So a typical application there might be between a sofa and a rear wall, for example. It's worth mentioning that this is not a seat shaker or a transducer, but
that was
a regular
going to be my
sub.
question. Yeah, that was the first question I was going to ask. Is it a transducer? Because they were quite popular for a number of years, and you did put them inside your furniture, inside your sofa, and so on.
Yeah, most definitely not. So again, as a category of product, I was slightly, confused about it, but it makes sense for Earthquake to move into this area. They're known really for in-car subwoofers, although they have a lot of residential products and pro DJ products and that kind of thing.
Well, this is where I was going to come in, Martin, because this is, if you look at any OEM system in car audio nowadays, the subwoofers tend to be hidden underneath the driver's seat and the passenger seats now. Certainly my Ford Puma was like that, and the BMW that I tested recently with the Bowers and Wilkins, it had transducers, but it also had subwoofers, 8-inch subwoofers under the chair. So that makes sense if they are in the automotive side of things.
Yeah, totally. And so I was a little skeptical about it because I thought, how can it sort of do what it claims to do, which is to shake the seat, but also produce some kind of refinement when it comes to movies and music as well. And I have to say, I was really, really impressed with it. It's a great piece of kit. Just to go back to the specs, it's a low-rise 19.3 centimeters in height and about 60 centimeters long. I couldn't get any information on the specific manufacturing processes, but I assume it's an MDF box, and the electronics and connections plate are actually on the underside, on the belly, if you have the driver also facing downwards, which is exactly as it would be. It's an 8-inch, sorry, it would be if it was under furniture. It's an 8-inch paper cone driver, and like I said, the amp plate also faces downwards. It's got 150 watts of output, care of a Class AB amp, not Class D, with 300 watts claimed peak. As well as gain, crossover, and phase controls, you can also link it up with a high-level connection if that's your preferred setup. Like I said, in tests, it really did produce a large amount of grunt and really managed to shake my sofa during the launch of Apollo 13 in the film of the same name. Same in Interstellar as well, in the shuttle sequences. It really was a very powerful output. I was really surprised because in my cinema room, I've got 3 M&K X10s, and while it obviously couldn't compete with that kind of output, nor its subtlety and sheer weight, but it did a surprisingly good job for a single sub. And I think if you daisy chain 2 of them, it would be a pretty impressive output. I was also surprised at how adept it was at music playback, with it, managing to disappear into the mix and allow rhythm sections to sound grounded and realistic, but certainly nothing offensive. I did notice on a couple of occasions that the sub could draw attention to itself and say, "I'm here," something that more perhaps reference subs wouldn't do so much. But this is not a high-end sub either. If you, like I said, if you have this in a bedroom or small living room, I think you'll definitely feel its effects. And really, really, like I said, great sub for a small room. My big problem, though, Phil, is the pricing here.
Yeah.
It is more than twice the price GBP than in the United States.
Ooh.
Now, Earthquake has a direct sales model stateside. So I think we all get it here that when a distributor gets it, he's got to deal with the overheads of warehousing and the rest of it, and the overheads associated with distribution. But twice the price is just too much, and it almost takes this sub into a different product class category entirely. It's £690 here. Stateside, it's $399 plus tax delivered.
Yeah. Another thing, just looking at the specs, this has been on the market for some time now in the States anyway, hasn't it? So it looks like it's been 13 years on the market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To be fair, it's fairly niche. I mean, not just because it fits in a niche, but I mean, it's one of those things where presumably you get the technology together and you go, well, that ain't broke, so we ain't going to fix it.
Yeah.
One thing that did occur to me, Martin, whilst you were describing this, presumably its performance is in some way going to vary depending on the sort of relative density and materials used in the furniture under which you've placed it.
Yes, good point. I think that would be the case. I wasn't able to try it in too many different locations or with different furniture types. I wish my flat was big enough.
Well,
but yes, I think I'm sure all those things would play into the final result. Yeah.
In other words, if you for whatever reason have decided on church pews as your
as your chosen,
it's probably not going to be as effective. So something to bear in mind.
Yeah. But I guess, Martin, for some of us out there, we don't have the luxury of having dedicated rooms, or we don't have the luxury of space. So something like this that can be discreetly hidden away, but again, give a fairly decent performance is a nice idea.
Exactly that. And in fact, when I opened it up, for some reason it immediately screamed gaming to me. I think it really is something that if a student or a gaming enthusiast has a portable projector in their digs or in their room or whatever, I think that would where it would find.
Yeah. But again, the problem is the price. If it was at the US dollar price, it makes sense. At the UK price, wow.
Yes.
There's far better products on the market, really.
Yeah, although there isn't too much competition, I found here in the UK for this product category. I really dug in deep on the internet, and there are quite a few products in Europe, but there's very little that's apples to apples here in the UK. So it might hold quite a unique proposition over here.
Okay, but yeah, interesting product. It's definitely for those that are a little bit short of space. But yeah, thanks very much for the review, Martin. And of course, Martin's review is on the homepage this week. If you listen to the podcast as it goes out, it's in the top slot tonight. So go and have a look at that if you're interested in finding out a little bit more. And if you've got any direct questions for Martin a little bit later in the week, shove them in the discussion thread, and Martin will answer those when he's got the time.